Are we ready to go? Ready to talk about real estate and the market out there? Are you ready, Miss Laura?
Yes.
Ready to rock and roll?
More than ready.
You know,
Look, this
you
is
can
the
rock and roll. You can get on the table and do it.
That's the diesel engine. This is the one that has the diff.
Them are the cars that run you off the road.
Watch out.
I'm dead serious. Well, why is it? Because they're so high up.
I don't know.
There's a house that I pass every day, and he's got these like Jeeps, and they're like 18 foot up in the sky. I'm gonna take a photo of it the other day. The next time I drive by there, and then we'll talk about it on the podcast.
That sounds good.
Yeah. All right. So we're ready? Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Texas Real Estate Show. We are live, and please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I am here with the one and only Laura Zuniga, and we're going to talk about the real estate market as it's always chopping and changing. Whether you are an investor, whether you're somebody that wants to get into the real estate industry, we are here to help you, advise you, and give advice what we can. This is just our opinions. So if you're looking at investing or what, whatever your taste is, we're here to sort of try and help you. But a recent announcement was made through Yahoo Finance saying that the US existing home sales edge, they actually edge up, but prices drop by most since 2011. Existing home prices rose 0.2%, seasonally adjusted annual rates of 4.3 million units last month, the National Association of Realtors said on Thursday, after tumbling at the end of 2022. The housing market has shown signs of getting back, basically shown signs of getting back on its feet for the first half of 2023. What's your feeling on that, Ms. Laura?
Well, I think, honestly speaking, it's,
Are you joining us, Courtney?
Yes.
Come on then.
I don't see that, in some instances, I do see where house prices have, I wouldn't say they have dropped, but they kind of have stabilized,
Yeah, I don't think home prices have dropped in our location. I think it's very location. A lot of, there's some home prices that dropped in Austin because they shot up 15% in such a short time, so they dropped a little bit.
They haven't dropped as much because I have a really good partner in Austin, and we
Partner in crime.
Yes, another partner in crime, and
it's all right, everybody. Courtney's a little bit late today. She had a doctor's appointment. You good? Okay?
Yes, I'm just doing the walk of shame here.
So, like in Austin, I mean, prices have not decreased because Austin is like a really big booming city right now. Like you have Bastrop, you have Pflugerville, you have Round Rock that now is kind of connected to Austin, right? Which it wasn't, like Gerald now. So, like it hasn't slowed down up there where I think probably it has slowed down or decreased. It's probably in other areas of the country. For example, I had somebody that was trying to get equity out of their investment in Michigan, and the
Good luck with that.
The price of that home actually it increased, I think in the last 20 years that he bought it, it only increased 40,000.
Well, let me tell you a little story.
So it's not that great,
When I was selling foreclosures back in 2008, 2010, working for Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and Indy Mac, and all the others. One of my investors at the time would buy foreclosure lots. So what they would do is put the good houses and the bad houses and the really bad houses together as a lot, and they'd auction them off. And he was always buying houses in Houston, fixing them up, and he would keep them as rentals, or he'd flip them, or whatever the flavour was. And one day he came to me and he said, I'm not buying any more houses in Texas because there's too much competition. What I'm going to do is I'm going to buy some houses in Michigan. And that was in 2008. Well, he bought a foreclosure lot in Michigan, and he still has some of them houses today in Michigan, and they're still vacant, empty, and nothing with them at all. And there's areas, by all accounts, that unfortunately are just,
Yeah, based on the description that this particular investor gave me, I thought, it's going to be like a very high dollar price, at least in the 200s. No, looked it up. It was only 120,000.
What I have noticed, though, I think Michigan might start booming a little bit more, because I've noticed that a lot of companies, it's all about supply and demand, and you're going to move where there's a job.
If there's local companies there, and actually Kate has got something to add to this, because Kate's been running the numbers about different things. Kate, would you like to sort of add what you told me this morning?
Who's Kate?
Kate, sorry.
What? Are we talking about?
About the people coming to Texas.
Oh, coming to Texas. First, would you guys buy one of those $16 houses in Detroit, Michigan? Have you seen those?
16.
Yeah, you can buy a house for $16.
You mean the one where I need to buy about 20 guns to make sure I don't get shot?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Probably
good.
not.
You could buy the block. If you buy, the block, you guys could. You could have, some nice little coffee shops.
Maybe.
In the
might
middle,
think
in the
about
middle
it.
of nowhere.
I'm gonna ask my partner in crime if she wants to invest after the show, so we'll see.
But I don't know. When we went to Detroit, it wasn't too bad.
It wasn't bad.
It was fun.
Yeah, I think I feel like they're trying to, give themselves a facelift now. But
It was actually safe, I would say. We went
But did you go to
hiking.
Chicago, or did you go?
No. We went to Detroit.
I love Chicago.
Haven't been to Chicago.
I was in Chicago and Milwaukee.
That's Illinois, not Michigan.
Oh, there you go. See, that's good. That's mine.
they call
They're
Chicago-
neighbor states, right?
But I still like Chicago.
I think maybe. I don't know. But I mean, Detroit was not bad, even though I've heard that Detroit is bad. There's
Yeah, a lot of gun violence.
Yeah, it was not bad. We went into downtown.
At least the areas that we were in
At least
weren't
the
bad.
areas that we were in. There was some areas that we drove by that were very kind of deteriorated, pretty much. And like that one in the picture.
I will have to say,
But-
it's $1. These are all $1.
But honestly, I mean, we traveled around there and it felt safe.
yeah, my favorite thing was whenever we went to the Bell
How nearer
Island.
them to Walmart?
Bell Island, yeah.
How nearer them properties to Walmart or any type of?
I bet you everything locked up there.
Right. I went to Atlanta, and they had the eyelashes locked up. That was the only thing that had security tags on it. Was the eyelashes. It was like, oh my god.
Look, single family bedroom. All right. No. Oh, you came down. You said it was worth what? 28,000. Zillow estimates that home's worth 28,000. Well, don't listen to Zillow. They have not got a clue what they're talking about.
Well, it's because they don't look at the current condition of the property.
Well, these Zillow estimates, people look at Zillow. Some of them aren't even on the local MLS. They'd be, on
And
there.
all of those properties are in Detroit?
Yeah, every single one of these ones are for $1. But I think Stephen and I were talking about the Texas earlier today, and it was just like they're calling it when people are moving from California to Texas, and they said that they're above average for the income, but a lot of them are moving to Dallas right now. Before it was Austin, but now it's mainly Dallas from California. But
They can't stand the heat over here.
yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of people that we get calls from, though, from other states that are moving into Houston,
Yeah.
Tennessee, Mississippi,
New
Florida.
York.
There's a lot of people moving from Florida to Texas. Louisiana, New Mexico, California as well.
Yeah.
We get calls all the time for people that are looking for, people moving into the area. You know, we have no state tax, and I think that makes a big difference. But
I haven't had quite
property
as
taxes have gone up ridiculous, and we'll see what happens with that, because I know there's a lot going through the state legislature at the moment. They're trying to come up with something, but I'm worried that that's going to affect our schools.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, I know we had a flood of a lot of, prospects because they were moving from Florida because of laws changing in Florida. But I think that kind of slowed down already a little bit.
also people from moving from California to Houston has slowed down as well.
California to Houston has slowed down.
There's a lot of my friends from up north are now trying to come to Houston. But I feel like everybody from California, Austin is too expensive, so now they're going for Dallas because they're like, oh, it's the same price now.
Is there many people that go from or move from California to like Portland, Oregon?
I think like if you're in Northern California, yeah, because it's right there.
Because Portland, Oregon's supposed to be beautiful. It's supposed to be a beautiful place to live, good climate.
Portland is beautiful.
Yeah, I had an
They have a
old,
lot
I
of
had an
crime
old
there
boss
too,
that went
don't they?
to. He actually went to
I don't
Mali.
know, but their hiking trails are beautiful.
I know they have a lot of like protests in Portland. It's like protest central.
I heard that because my daughter had a backpack with stating her position with the guns on her backpack. So did, and all of a sudden, while we were in the airport, she goes, "Mom, help me cover this because we're in Portland." And I was like, "What?"
You're bullseyes.
So
Yeah. It's I don't know if I could
But you
handle.
know, but just cover that quickly. Isn't that? Do you not think that's sort of strange how with this whole country, on that particular issue, it's just so separated apart. It's just so separated.
What issue?
Guns.
on guns, I mean,
It's
I
just
think
so
we're separated on every issue. What do you
on
mean?
every issue.
I don't know about that so much, but I mean, I think it's.
But she has a lot of, sewed on tags on her. She has a traveling jacket and she has a traveling backpack. So she has all
It
these
says what?
patches.
Please do not.
No, all
mess
these
with me.
patches.
I've got my AR-15 in here. I mean, what does it say?
No, something about the right to bear arms or whatever. It's sewed into her backpack.
Well, I've got arms.
And so, yeah, you do. What do we know? Stephen has arms. But
Never
you know what?
noticed that one before.
So, but she said that she was watching something in social media that it was like a big thing at the time that we visited, something about gun control. So
Probably a shooting.
she was just trying to empathize with the Portland crowd. So
Well,
She
that-
wants
well,
to
that went
follow
well.
through the airport.
empathize and just
that
cover
went
it up.
well going through the airport.
Well, she just covered it up with the sweater, so that was fine. I mean, we did
It
get
depends what parts of the country, whether you cover it up or.
Yeah, I mean, once
Some parts of the country, they'd be proud of it.
Yeah, if you're walking around with that here in Texas, nobody's going to say anything.
Yeah, but I think it's very much a location thing with the housing market at the moment. I do think that there are some areas that have dropped. Let's move on to the next item that we got: the 10 most overpriced housing market. Huh?
Can I share something
Sure.
on that? Being about, we were talking about which cities are like the most popular ones. So I was in my seminar yesterday, and we got some notes that actually southern cities in Texas are the ones that are getting the most expansion now, than instead of like we were talking San Antonio, Austin, and Dallas. So the top ones right now in Texas are McAllen, Bronzeville, El Paso, and Laredo. Those are the top 4.
That are expanding quickly.
We have just done one deal for nearly $10 million in Laredo for a big warehouse, international company moving their warehouse down to Laredo because they want to get near the border.
Yeah, so I mean, and these are cities that are actually other people from other states are actually moving into southern
But it's hot down there.
cities, southern.
We've got one of there's a family that we have, which are two of our agents here, and their kids. They're actually in the process. They're actually in El Paso at the moment, buying properties, investment properties.
Isn't a lot of properties over there is going to be more sand?
I was gonna
Yes.
No mow in the yard. Yay!
I think
No humidity.
yeah, that's what the thing is about Houston is that it's way more humid. So
Is
that-
there no humidity in El Paso?
it's not as humid.
It's a dry heat.
It's a dry heat.
It's a dry heat. Even San Antonio, Austin,
It's
all
more
that's
as a
dry.
desert heat.
Loretto is dry too. I visited Loretto like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and like there's no trees.
No what?
Well, there are trees, but there's no trees like
they're
here in
not-
Houston.
They're not like the green trees. They're the little
Brown ones.
like desert
like
safari trees.
mesquites, like
I drove my daughters to San Marcos because she's at was it Texas State or whatever it's called.
oh, San Marcos is beautiful.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
really pretty.
Huh?
On the river.
Yeah, they have
you-
some pretty rivers.
Well, that part of it's good, but when you're actually driving there from Houston, I mean,
You've never
there's
been a Rat
cows
River?
there. What's that?
You've never been a Rat River.
A rat river.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to deal with rats.
You're not. You're
But
not
no,
going to
but
do it.
hold on, let me finish.
Hey, if
when,
you
when
wanna-
you're driving to San Marcos, the grass is brown. There's the trees are just like you said. There's cows out there that look like they've never been fed in their life.
The cypress trees are so pretty and they're huge. Like they're
But they honestly, it's like a desert.
It does get more deserty over there.
Yeah,
It
there's
is.
places, there's areas.
And even St. Marcus, my daughter's staying in a residential area that is supposed to be one of the better ones out there.
Mm-hmm.
And we lease a house over there for her while she's in school. But I'm telling you, the grass is green. The grass is brown. It's not green.
I'll
I
tell you,
don't
if you
like
want to
it
see
at all.
rats, go to Buffalo Bayou.
Oh well, I agree with that.
no.
Those rats are huge. And once we went hiking at night, and one tried to crawl up my friend's leg.
Oh my goodness. So a rat river, what that means is that you buy a tube, you just like sit there, put your cooler, and just let the river take you downstream, and then you hop on a buggy, brings you back
Well,
up.
when
you
my
go
daughter
do that again.
graduated, it was a big thing there. They all go in there, they graduate, and then they all jump into the river.
Mhm.
All right.
You've never done that.
No, but I've seen them do it because when my daughter graduated, I was there watching them doing it and thinking, "What's all the fuss about?" Typical me. But okay, you graduated. That's what we paid for. But anyway, she did well, and I'm very proud of her. So that's all that matters. So let's talk about the 10 most overpriced housing markets then. What's your feel on that?
So Nashville, Florida. Wait a minute. Detroit came into number 7. Maybe we should start investing in Detroit.
Nashville is pretty expensive now.
It's because all the music.
Yeah. Because it's like country music
I
central.
would like to
Oh,
visit
yeah.
Nashville, personally.
It's another city.
As long as I can
I
meet
like
Taylor
outside of
Swift.
Nashville.
I'd like to go to Nashville as long as I can meet Taylor Swift.
Atlanta was the number 1 highest.
Overpriced?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But they make good peach tea.
Yeah, but when you go to Atlanta, I only bring cash because I do not like automatic gratuities of like 20%. Like, I'm not paying your automatic gratuity. I'm gonna pay what's on the bill, and then I'm going to give you your tip. But
I
it's
don't.
so expensive because everybody works nightlife there, so it's
Oh, really?
just they're all recycling the same money.
Even Detroit is on the overpriced listed.
Yeah, I just saw that. I was like, Detroit came into number 7, so
That
maybe
their average listing price is $226, but whenever they do the home values, it's half of that.
Maybe
That's
we should invest in the
crazy.
dollar ones then.
The difference between the home value and the list price is 43.97%. That is crazy.
Oh, and then Memphis, Tennessee, I wouldn't have known that one. I did go to Memphis though, because I think that's the one where they have one of the biggest Bass Pro shops, right?
I think so.
We had a blast there. It was like an amusement park inside of a building.
Is it the
Really?
one with like the fish tanks in there?
Yeah.
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 It's like a whole hotel, shops. You could honestly fish in there with how many fish they have.
Do
Restaurants.
they let you fish?
You don't even have to buy the stuff. You just test it there.
I want to test my fishing rod in the aquarium. But Memphis, Tennessee looks pretty interesting.
I think it's,
Average list price $225. Expected home value $154. Can you imagine some of the contracts negotiating them prices as a real estate agent?
Get ready with your $100,000 down payment because that's how much you're going to pay.
you're getting over
And all the
$100,000.
contingencies they're going to ask for, not contingency of home appraisals. That's why
Appraisal
everybody
waivers.
needs to get himself a good real estate agent.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure.
I wonder why people are willing to pay so much for the overpriced home in these areas. Because I'm like,
I can
There's
answer
so
that
much
for you.
for it.
I can tell you that. The reason why they do, actually, there was something I wanted to explain to when you buy a house in Europe, how they do it, but the reason why they do that is because a lot of people buy a house on what they consider it to be a future value, in the hope, because they know that year on year, houses traditionally go up anything from 8 to 16%. So if you take that, that's better than the S&P 500. I want to explain to you how I bought my first house, okay, in the UK. So I was 24 years old. I qualified for a loan, but what I did was I bought what they call an endowment policy, and that policy you pay into it monthly,
Okay.
and then it's a 30-year policy, and then at the end of 30 years they will guarantee that that policy would be worth at that time, which is what I paid for my first house, £35,000. Okay, so the idea is that if you keep paying on the policy, there's like a second guarantee. You pay the mortgage as well and the interest and everything else. And do you think that would make it any cheaper, or because there's less there's less liability that the bank have? Do you understand?
That sounds a lot like our government-backed loans.
Because what it basically does, it reduces the risk that the banks have to take. So you think it's basically the same as what the government-backed loans do?
Yeah, I mean, it's making a guarantee that these banks aren't going to lose their butt if they foreclose on these houses because there's not a lot of down payment. There's not a lot of skin in the game.
Now I've paid it for 30 years, I've got a little bit coming my way. You know, they give you the option to extend it as well, and I extended it a little bit.
It sounds like a life insurance policy.
It sort of is, because in the event that I die, there is a guaranteed amount as well, so it is sort of like
So when do they pay on that policy?
Well, I got the option of, I was 24, so I got the option of 30 years. That took me to 54. I actually extended it for 5 years, which took me to 59. And now I'm sort of on a year-to-year basis.
So at any
So
time,
that reinvesting,
at any time you can pull that money out. You don't have to die. You don't have to do anything. You
No.
just got to keep paying on the policy.
no, and there's no tax payable on it.
So what if you stop paying on the policy?
Then it'll just generate income itself.
So it's kind of like a 401k? It's at no penalty to pull out.
Yes, there's no penalties to pull out.
But it's a kind of the same thing because you have to do it for 30 years, right? If you were to stop paying within those 30 years, what would happen?
If I was to start paying, the interest would still accumulate because there was a fund there.
But could you pull it out at that time before the 30 years is up?
Yeah. Oh, before the 30 years, no.
It's like
It
401k.
would
So
stop.
401k, you have to
It
wait
would
until it
stop.
matures.
It would stop.
Yeah.
But I've just kept on doing it, you know, just for personal reasons within my family. So I've got money from my mum if anything happens. So, anything else you want to bring up? Anything else happening in the real estate world? Did the Fed come out with anything yesterday or this week?
We are seeing rates not so great right now.
Yeah.
They are creeping back up. We saw some reprieve. We saw, they were maybe going to get better, but unfortunately, within this last week, we have just seen the market slowly sliding.
I did wanted to touch base on something that, as I mentioned to y'all, that I was in a seminar yesterday. So there is this great program that it's for Texas for all the first-time home buyers. Now, to qualify for this one, you do have to be a first-time home buyer, and you have to be inside a certain annual income bracket, right?
Which honestly, probably 75% of our borrowers are within that bracket.
Right. So and it has to be for primary homes only. And the benefit of this program is that we can use part of this particular program as income. So if anybody is in the borderline, we can use it as income to help them qualify for a home. And not only that, but at the end of the year, they get a reimbursement.
Yeah, so
for their taxes.
Further in detail, this is a tax credit. So as long as you as a buyer are paying in taxes, so it's not super helpful sometimes for those self-employed borrowers, but those borrowers that are W-2 that pay taxes in, it's going to give them a tax break where they're actually going to get money back at the end of the year. And when you're first paying off your mortgage, very, very little is actually going to the principal. Right. 99% is going to the interest. So all that interest that you pay throughout the year, they're actually going to give you 20% back of that interest on your tax returns. So you can definitely reach out to a tax person. We do not give tax advice, but
right.
This certificate is wonderful for first-time
home buyers.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
at least one person has to be a first-time home buyer.
Why can't it be for investors as well? That would help me out a lot.
Because they get all those write-offs at the end of the year for their investment properties.
And so it's just a great program, to keep in mind that, if you're still out there shopping and you've been...
What sort of wage level do they need to be at to benefit from it?
So it depends on your family size and what county you're buying in. But right now in Harris County, they can be as high as about 80 to 90,000, sometimes up to 110, depending on their family size.
So if you've got mom and dad and 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's anything between 2 to whatever amount.
So the family sizes are between 1 and 2 is in one group, and then 3 and plus.
4 plus.
Yep. 3 plus in the family size is another bracket. So at the 1 and 2 mark, you're going to be about 90,000, and at the 3 and up, you're going to be at 110,000 a year. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, which is a good thing. And then if the person, is the home buyer is smart about receiving that extra savings at the end of the year, they can use it to, since their taxes already are taken care of and their insurance, they can use it, to put down for their principal to, beat the interest rate, or they can just.
So, and we can add this on to
stuff.
FHA, conventional, USDA's, VA loans. We can use it for any of them.
Wow, that's good.
And it can tag along to other down payment assistance programs that are out there.
Okay.
So it's a win-win.
All right. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up. As always, thank you for Miss Laura Zuniga, and thank you for Miss Corny Guerrero.
Laura, who's always on time.
Not quite.
No, she was late as well this morning. So
it was a little bit running.
I was on time, but I was already here.
Late, taking a call.
Me and Kay was here, but we was waiting patiently for you both. So, as they get hold of you then, Miss Laura?
At laura@lspmortgage.com.
You can call me at 832-409-7908 or Courtney at lspmortgage.com.
And if you need to get hold of us, you're more than welcome to like, comment and share, and turn on notifications and put something in the chat, or you can contact me on social media at C21OlympianTX, or you could email me if you want to at broker@c21olympian.com. We want you all to have a good week. Stay happy, stay healthy, and enjoy the party. Ta-ta for now.